every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello everyone, you're on to CoreTV Primetime News with Nifemi Oguntoye. In our top story, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo discloses that the relief package by federal government started getting to the states. The National Economic Council says the excess crude account now stands at $2.57 billion. Transition Monitoring Group says it will deploy 1,000 observers to monitor Kogi and Bayelsa governorship elections. Outside Nigeria, Burkina Faso regain in turmoil as coup plotters overthrow interim government a few weeks to scheduled elections. We'll begin tonight in Abuja, where states of the Federation says have been started benefiting from the Special Intervention Fund aspect of the presidential relief package earlier approved by President Muhammadu Buhari. This was disclosed today at the National Economic Council NEC meeting held at the State House, presided over by Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo San. While briefing the council, the Central Bank Governor, Godwin Emefiele, said 18 states had been able to draw from the fund as at today, while a number of other states are currently being processed for the soft loan facility. This is part of President Buhari's relief package designed to help states pay the backlog of salaries and also ease the financial challenges caused by the drop in federal allocation. Meanwhile, Nigeria's excess in crude oil account stands at $2.257 billion as of September 15 this year. Oyo State Governor Abiola Ajimobi disclosed this after a closed-door meeting of the National Economic Council in Abuja.
Earlier in the day, the Accountant General of the Federation reported to us that we have excess crude proceeds as at 15th September 2015, amounting to over $2.257 billion. This was established and he confirmed the position. Other major item that was discussed had to do with the restructuring of bank loans to state government. And the restructuring was done into FGM bond, and the Director General of Debt Management Office reported as follows: that 26 states applied for the loan, that 11 states have concluded and submitted all relevant documents, that 13 states are involved in the second phase to commence immediately.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has declared Kennedy Zogbe, a former director of Society General Bank, wanted. 45-year-old Zogbe is the managing director of Khaleesi Properties and Investment Limited, a company which Senate President Bukola Saraki is believed to have shares in. EFCC said in a statement that the former Societe Generale Bank director has been investigated in a case of conspiracy and money laundering to the tune of over 3.6 billion naira. The anti-graft agency believes he has gone into hiding after all efforts to reach him failed. EFCC specifically says his work is linked to several shady deals and gross financial misconduct that took place in the bank, in which several millions of naira were granted as loan without due diligence. It added that the suspect is believed to have fled the country. And also, the EFCC Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arrested the tribe of Yakubu Dankaba, Yahya Baba, and Usman Abdul Hakim at Area 3 of Garki District, Abuja, for their involvement in a 20 million naira fraud. The suspects allegedly posed as EFCC operatives with the aim of extorting money from the FCT Water Board director. The commission said in a statement that they had written a letter notifying him of an investigation, but offered to help quash it if they could part with 20 million naira. Suspecting that it was about to be swindled, the director alerted the EFCC, which swung into action and caught the three suspects. The commission plans to charge the suspect to court as soon as investigations are completed. Toyin Onwosu is in the news again, and this time it's for the good, as jubilation kick-started at the Agor Palace Way, Okota, Lagos, residence of the Deputy Managing Director of the Sun newspapers, Stephen Onwosu, this morning following the release of his wife, Toyin, by kidnappers. She was first found around First Gate, Amowo Dolphin, at about 2:20 a.m. by security operatives after her abductors, who demanded 100 million naira, told the family and the police she would be dropped there. As early as 9 a.m., the residence was full of family members and friends who trooped in to celebrate with her. Some of the visitors included members of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, shed tears of joy after discovering that the woman has been released by her captors. Initially, reporters were denied access into the compound for security reasons, but were later allowed in after Onwosu intervened. And moving away from that story now, this is coming in from the National Assembly. Ilori indigenes are rallying support for President of the Senate President Bukola Saraki ahead of his trial of the Code of Conduct Tribunal for falsely declaring his assets. They converged on the National Assembly under the banner of the Ilori Emirates Descendants Progressive Union on Thursday to declare their unflinching support for Senator Saraki. The members also expressed hope that the charges against the Senate President will be thrown out by the tribunal. For his part, the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, insists that he is fully focused on ensuring that Nigeria gets back on the path of glory. A federal high court in Abuja has summoned the Code of Conduct Bureau to appear before it on September 21 to show cause why it should not be restrained from arraigning Senate President Bukola Saraki over allegations bordering on forced declaration of assets. Saraki, in an ex parte motion, wants the court to stop Federal Ministry of Justice and the Code of Conduct Tribunal from taking any further step to arraign or prefer any charge against him, pending the hearing and determination of the substantive suit he filed before the court. In a ruling, Justice Ahmed Mohammed ordered the Federal Ministry of Justice, Chairman of the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal, to appear before him on Monday to show cause why they should not be stopped from arraigning the Senate President. Justice Mohammed also ordered that the respondents on the motion should be served with all the court processes. The judge held that the order was made in pursuant to the provision of Order 26, Rule 10 of the Federal High Court Civil Procedure Rules of 2009. The anti-corruption campaign of President Muhammadu Buhari has been taken to the doorsteps of the Nigeria Police Force, with the leadership vowing to dismiss any officer found culpable of corrupt practices. The Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 8, Tanko Lawal, made this known while visiting the Ekiti State Police Command as part of the tour of his command. Rashid has more in this report.
As part of his tour to the commands under his zone, the new AIG Zone 8, Tanko Lawal, visited the Ekiti State Police Command. At the command headquarters, Lawal told the officers and men of the force that the corruption tag used in describing the police is unacceptable, calling for a change on the part of the members of the force. He, however, says appropriate sanctions await those who are found wanting.
Inspector of Police Solomon Asrasi has zero tolerance to corruption. Any officer, from the constable to the most senior officer, caught in the corruption wave will be shown the way out. Once it is proven, that officer should go. And if care is not taken, we will also prosecute him. So all of us, including my humble self, is a warning to all of us.
While commending the command for maintaining professionalism, he gave an assurance of a bumper welfare package and prompt promotions for officers and men. He also ordered strict compliance to the dismantling of roadblocks in the zone.
Consider those who have acquired additional qualification while in service. That's why the other time, all the AIGs in the country, we went round, command by command, to screen these officers. Assist us in all these areas where they noticed either they are being forced to give bribe or the road is blocked. They should tell us a particular point so that we know where it occurred and we'll question the CP.
The AIG will also visit all of divisional police commands in the state to take the gospel to all within the command, just as Ekiti citizens await the outcome, which is simply put, better policing. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
We'll take a break now, and I'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to our husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Because some people will stand for Yoruba land, will be strong man. We don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say.
I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it's time to forgive me.
Please for Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're on to CoreTV Primetime News. Another look at our top stars. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo discloses that the relief package by the federal government has started getting to the states. The National Economic Council says excess crude account now stands at $2.257 billion. The Transition Monitoring Group says it will deploy 1,000 observers to monitor the Kogi and Bayelsa governorship elections. You can get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV. Our Twitter handle is at CoreTV News NG, and we're streaming live on YouTube. It's youtube.com/CoreTV, space and news. The Transition Monitoring Group is to redeploy over 500 observers for the forthcoming governorship elections in Kogi and Bayelsa. TMG Chairman Ibrahim Zikirulai discussed this at a news conference in Abuja. The coalition of civil society groups also plans to adopt the system it used to monitor the 2015 election across the country. Basiaye now reports.
Kogi and Bayelsa states will be the focus of attention for many Nigerians come November 21 and December 5, being the dates set aside for the 2015 gubernatorial elections. And while INEC is insisting on building on the successes of the last general elections held earlier in the year, other stakeholders are keen on ensuring that the promises are kept. One of such is the Transition Monitoring Group, which says it is ready to once again put its quick count system to task. It has already deployed local and international observers on pre-election duties in each of the states.
Quick count observer will deploy to a representative radar sample of polling units in these states to track the processes and results. As always, the objective of the TMG quick count is to deter and detect electoral fraud while ensuring the votes of the people count.
We are also going to have a second layer of observers who are the roving observers who will have the opportunity to visit as many polling units as possible. In fact, if resources permit them, they are at liberty to visit all of the 2,000 plus polling units in Kogi State. As for Bayelsa State, our representative random sample as drone is going to deploy observers to 250 polling units. And this is spread in all of the 8 local governments, and nearly every ward of that state is to be covered.
TMG also wants security agencies to ensure that all political parties and candidates go through the due process of checks and scrutiny before the elections.
In line with the ongoing fight against corruption, we call on all political parties to subject their candidates in the forthcoming Kogi and Bayelsa governorship election to DSS checks and to drop any that face the DSS scrutiny. It is better to prevent corruption than spending our scarce resources to fight it.
With the governorship elections in the 2 states drawing ever close and the assurances given by INEC on its level of preparedness, groups like TMG expect that the outcome will be another testament of credibility and transparency. Basiaye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The Independent National Electoral Commission on Thursday began the process of defending the outcome of the April 11 governorship election it conducted in Rivers State. The commission opened its defense at the Rivers State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja by calling one of the electoral officers to testify. The witness, Ibikoru Tebekaimi, told the tribunal that he presided over the process at Obiakwa local government area in the state. He said there was no case of ballot box snatching or multiple thumb printing of ballot papers, contrary to the testimonies of petitioner's witnesses. When he was cross-examined by the petitioner's counsel, Akion Lujimi, INEC witness denied the allegation that there was widespread rigging and hijacking of electoral materials by armed thugs. He insisted that election was duly conducted in 15 out of 17 wards in the local government, adding that it was only in wards 12 and 13 that election did not take place. The police in Taraba State have arrested a number of cattle rustlers who have been terrorizing local communities in the state. Police Commissioner Ikechukwu Nwodibo said the arrest followed a strict application of intelligence and community policing initiative espoused by Inspector General Solomon Arase. Udwa Godwin has more from Jalingo.
These are some of the suspects in police custody in Taraba State. The police say they are cattle rustlers, blackmailers and armed robbers. And according to the Commissioner of Police, Ikechukwu Nwodibo, they were picked up as part of efforts to rid the state of criminal activities.
Based on strict application of the principles of safer highways, our men have been stationed on strategic locations throughout the major highways of this command. This yielded fruit few days ago when 3 suspects were arrested by our men at Lakamviri along Jalingo Yola Road in possession of an Opel car.
Already, plans are underway to charge the suspects to court.
We are applying the principles of community partnership and collaboration with the police in this command effectively. Based on that and our intelligence-led policing approach, this fellow was arrested at a primary school when he went to pick up a ransom. He is equally going to be charged to court.
He assured the public of security and also sent out a note of warning to anyone indulging in criminal activities. Udwa Godwin, CoreTV News, Jalingo.
In Kaduna State, the state government has beefed up security following the closure of 2 branches of the Assemblies of God Church in Saminaka, Lere local government area, over a leadership crisis. Speaking with the journalist, the Special Assistant to the Governor on Media and Publicity, Samuel Aruwan, said the decision to tighten security in the area is to avert a breakdown of law and order. He also appealed to leadership of the Assemblies of God Church, Saminaka district, to reconcile themselves for peace to reign among its members. It will be recalled that Kaduna State Security Council had on Wednesday announced the closure of 2 churches, a seminary school as well as a hospital in Saminaka, after government's efforts to resolve the crisis failed. Authorities of the Federal Polytechnic, Auchi, have commended the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TETFund, for creating a conducive learning environment in the school. The rector, Dorothy Kiabo, hailed the intervention agency while receiving its officials who were in school for an on-the-spot inspection of projects. The rector assured the government officials that the school will make good use of the facilities and make a case for more assistance.
And I have learned so much. What I have benefited in the last 3 years, I cannot really put in words. I'm back here to be a better teacher, a better lecturer, a better researcher, and I strongly believe in myself, and based on what I've benefited, that I'll be able to impact on the students better. And in terms of administration, I also learned a lot how to administer a department. Where I studied, the program is sort of customized. If you're into teaching, you do a lot of teaching practices, which I did. I was taught how to use the social media to teach students, especially when you have a number of students. I did wikis with students. Even Facebook, which is like a play platform, was used for academic purposes. And students love it. And I know that here too, I'll start teaching from next semester. I know that students here will also enjoy it.
As Muslim faithful converge on Saudi Arabia to perform the Hajj exercise, most pilgrims from Nigeria are now fixing the Arabian teeth. CoreTV News Ajibola Oluwole, who was currently in Saudi Arabia, reports that visits around clinics in the city of Medina shows that Nigerian pilgrims are preoccupied with fixing of the tooth, which according to them symbolizes their visit to the birth country of Islam. Prices of the tooth, according to investigations, range from $9,000 for silver, $12,000 for gold, and $15,000 for artificial Saudi tooth. Employment, Newman Leadership and Citizenship Forum, a program of the wife of the Imo State Governor, was held. The House holds quarterly for the empowerment of students of secondary school in the state. The Imo State correspondent was at the event and filed in the support.
The wife of the governor, Norma Nkechi Rocha Sokorocha, in her speech to participants says the program is designed to empower students and equip them to move to the next level. She also listed some of the strides made by the initiative.
What is most important for these our students to know, if actually they've not made that known to themselves, is for them to discover who they really are. Because for you to be not just any leader, but we are talking about successful leaders, leaders that will make positive impact in their position of authority. And for you to be that leader, first of all, you must you already a leader because you prefect in various secondary schools.
The moderators at the training program, Linus Okorie and Ubong Essien, challenged the students to look beyond just sitting in the class and see themselves as leaders.
If you have a small mind and you are given a position, the truth of the matter is that you cannot make a difference. You might be handsome, you might be beautiful, but leadership starts from the mind. How many of us want to be great here? Let me see your hand. Continue to dream. It is possible to be great. You want to become like some of the great persons he has talked about. But you cannot become like these people if you do not have the right attitude.
For the governor, Rochas Okorocha, the program is a step in the right direction that will also have a knock effect on the development of the state in the long term.
Between the men and the saints, there's what is called the leaves of spermatozoa. And this about millions of sperms and leaves into the egg. And there's a race that takes place. Can we stress of all the sperms? Before they get to the egg of the woman, all the sperms died. Only one did it. And that's you.
Standing by my side, I want to believe that these are known faces, and I want to believe that God has already put together a team that have passion. Like Rani said, this what he's doing is something that is a dream that he has had for over 21 years. Also is my brother here. So these are a group of persons that believe in having true leadership in our society.
With these and other related programs, it is hoped that the designed effect of developing leadership and capacity in the students will be achieved. Ajibade Awofeso, CoreTV News, Owerri.
Adolescence is the period characterized by the development or body changes in a child towards adulthood. In girls, the breasts develop, while in boys, the voice deepens. This stage is popularly referred to as the teenage years of puberty. In the face of rising teenage pregnancy, parents are more worried now at the alarming statistics, which put 150 ladies under 19 getting pregnant out of every 1,000 Nigerian women. Our correspondent Netwi Lavery has details in this report. I understand we'll bring you details of that story later on. We'll take a break now and I'll be back with more. Don't go away.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. And Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
On business tonight, despite CBN's uphill struggle to keep the Naira from falling further, President Muhammadu Buhari believes the Naira must not be devalued. Speaking in an interview with France 24, he says it's not healthy for Nigeria to have the Naira devalued further. According to the president, that's why the federal government is getting the central bank to make modifications in terms of making foreign exchange available to essential services, industries, spare parts, essential raw materials, and so on. The Naira had earlier fallen to as low as $2.42 per dollar on the parallel market in July, versus the official rate of 197. It has lost around 15% against the dollar over the past year, with the official devaluation in November and a de facto one in February. However, Buhari's position conflicts with those of some local and foreign economists and analysts who believe the Naira must be devalued. They believe the expulsion of Nigeria from the global bond index by J.P. Morgan might have reduced pressure on the CBN to devalue the Naira. But the ultimate issue might be for the CBN to devalue Naira eventually. The Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, Alhaji Umar Ibrahim, says full implementation of the Treasury Single Account policy will help banks to diversify their sources of deposit mobilization. According to him, the policy has shown that the era of armchair banking in Nigeria is over. He spoken just during the opening of a research building complex donated by the NDIC to the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. Ibrahim also stressed that the implementation of the policy should not be strained to the banks, said banks had been warned about 3 years ago to take steps that would make them not to over-rely on government deposits. On the rumor of mass retrenchment in the banking system due to the TSA policy, the NDIC boss said that the rumor was unfounded. The Debt Management Office, the DMO, has said the federal government of Nigeria bonds remain safe and liquid despite the planned phasing out of the debt instrument of JP Morgan. At the press conference in Abuja on Wednesday, the Director General DMO, Dr. Abraham Owanko, assured investors of the safety and liquidity of their investment in the federal government bonds. According to him, the DMO will demonstrate the viability of the instrument on Friday at its scheduled issuance of FGN bonds. Owanko said JP Morgan's proposed phasing out of the FGN bonds from its government bond index emerging markets did not amount to a downgrade of Nigeria of the bonds, all the bonds, since JP Morgan was not a credit rating agency. The DMO boss said it was JP Morgan that applied to list the bonds on its index in 2012. This, he added, was 9 years after the government had developed its market all alone, claiming that the planned phasing out of the securities would not impact on the quality of the bonds. Owanko said the bonds remained risk-free and securities that were backed by the full faith and credit of the federal government and charged upon the general assets of Nigeria. Stories outside Nigeria is next after now. Stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Presidential Guard officers in Burkina Faso have announced the dissolution of the transitional government. Lieutenant Colonel Madobo Bamba said on state television that new National Democratic Council had taken control to end the deviant regime. Interim Parliament Speaker Sheriff C said the move was clearly a coup. Heavy shooting could be heard at the main square in the capital, Ouagadougou, to disperse protesters. On Wednesday, the Presidential Guard arrested Interim President Michel Kafando and Prime Minister Isaac Zida at a cabinet meeting at the Presidential Palace. They were due to hand power over to a new government after elections on 11th of October. You recall the long-serving ruler Blaise Compaoré was ousted in a popular uprising last year. And now to the United States, where Donald Trump has come under attack from all sides in a fiery battle between the top Republican presidential candidates in the 2016 election. The party's frontrunner, a billionaire businessman with no political experience, refused to apologize over comments about the wife of Jeb Bush. He was also on the receiving end when Carly Fiorina drew huge applause, facing up to his recent jibe over her looks. 50 Republicans are vying to be the party's White House nominee in 2016. With more than a year until polling day, the second Republican debate in the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in California saw Mr. Bush and Mr. Trump trading blows several times.
And in fact, not only are we the A-team, we even have our own Mr. T, who doesn't mind saying about others, you're a fool.
The best way for us to give this election back would be to nominate a Donald Trump. He'll either implode in a general election, or if God forbid, if he were in the White House, we have no idea what he would do. You can't just attack him on policy. He doesn't care about policy. It's not enough to say he was for socialized medicine or higher taxes.
Thank you, Governor.
He's not serious.
You got Hillary Clinton to go to your wedding because you gave her money. Maybe it works for Hillary Clinton. It doesn't work for anybody on this stage.
I was a businessman. I got along with Clinton. I got along with everybody. That was my job, to get along with people.
But the simple fact is...
Excuse me. 1 second.
No.
I didn't want to...
The simple fact is, Donald, you cannot take...
More energy tonight. I like that. First of all, Rand Paul shouldn't even be on this stage. He's number 11. He's got 1% in the polls. And how he got up here, there's far too many people. Anyway.
I think that really goes to the judgment. Do we want someone with that kind of character, that kind of careless language, to be negotiating with Putin? Do we want someone like that to be negotiating with Iran? His visceral response to attack people on their appearance, short, tall, fat, ugly. My goodness, that happened in junior high. Are we not way above that? Would we not all be worried to have someone like that in charge of the nuclear arsenal?
Mr. Trump.
I never attacked him on his look, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there.
Donald Trump said the following about you, quote, "Look at that face. Would anyone vote for that? Can you imagine that, the face of our next president?" Mr. Trump later said he was talking about your persona, not your appearance.
I think women all over this country heard very clearly what Mr. Trump said.
I think she's got a beautiful face, and I think she's a beautiful woman.
But let me say this flat out. Donald Trump is unfit to be president of the United States or the Republican Party's nominee.
And Mr. Trump, we don't need an apprentice in the White House. We don't need an apprentice in the White House. We have one right now.
UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has said he's shocked after Hungarian police fired tear gas and water cannon to force migrants back from its border. Mr. Ban said such treatment of asylum seekers was unacceptable. Hundreds were involved in clashes at the Hungary-Serbia border on Wednesday, trying to breach a razor wire fence. More than 5,000 migrants have entered Croatia so far, avoiding Hungary, according to police. German police said this was more than double the number that crossed the previous day, adding that most were picked up on the border with Austria. Germany is the final goal of many migrants now, as the European Union remains divided over how to deal with the crisis. And now to sports. Former Nigeria under-20 coach Manu Garba has been appointed coach of an PFL side, Giwa Football Club, according to a statement by the club. This comes a day after former coach Aminu Musa resigned. Garba, whose most recent job was in charge of the Flying Eagles, even when they reached the round of 16 at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in New Zealand, was introduced to his new squad on Wednesday evening after holding a meeting with club proprietor barrister Chris Giwa. Garba led Nigeria's Under-17 team to win the 2013 FIFA Under-17 World Cup in the United Arab Emirates and is seen as a truly grassroots coach with a keen eye for scouting young talents. Details of the contract have not yet been disclosed by the club. Former coach Musa resigned on Wednesday morning, citing personal reasons after the side's recent loss to Taraba Football Club. Giwa Football Club are fifth on the NPFL log with 46 points from 29 games and will host Sharks Football Club in their next game at the Ruwangpam Stadium in Jos. Chelsea boss Jose Mourinho said he had forgotten the winning feeling after his side reacted to their worst start to a Premier League season with a 4-0 victory over Maccabi Tel Aviv. The Blues entered the Champions League opener with 1 win from 5 matches. Despite an early missed penalty by Eden Hazard, goals from Willian, Oscar, Diego Costa and Cesc Fabregas ensured Chelsea had no problems in seeing off their Israeli opponents. Meanwhile, Mourinho was delighted that Chelsea made a winning start to the Champions League campaign on Wednesday, but said he was not happy that Manchester United, Manchester City and Arsenal had all lost their opening matches in this season's competition. Chelsea, who have made a poor start to the defense of the Premier League title, winning only one of their opening 5 matches, cruised to a 4-0 win over Israeli champions Maccabi Tel Aviv at Stamford Bridge. They were the only one of the EPL's 4 contenders to win after Manchester City were beaten 2-1 by Juventus and Manchester United lost 2-1 to PSV at the Auvergne on Tuesday. Arsenal were also beaten 2-1 by Dinamo Zagreb on Wednesday. Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger says forward Oliver Giroud's sending off in Wednesday's Champions League match against Dinamo Zagreb was very harsh after his 10-man team lost the Group F contest at Zabrek's Vixmer Stadium. Criticized for not being clinical enough in front of goal, Giroud's frustration got the better of him when he was forced booked for dissent after his reaction to the referee giving a foul against him. He was eventually sent off after a tackle on Dinamo Zagreb's Ivo Pinto in the 40th minute saw him pick up his second yellow card as Arsenal went on to lose 2-1. Wenger insisted Romanian referee Ovidiu Hatagan was harsh in flashing the second yellow card. To end CoreTV primetime news tonight, a recap of our top stories. Relief at last as federal government gives relief fund to state governments. The National Economic Council says the sex crude account now stands at $2.257 billion. Transition Monitoring Group says it would deploy 1,000 observers to monitor the Kogi and Bayelsa governorship elections. Well, thanks for staying with us. On behalf of everyone here, I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Have a pleasant night rest.